What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? It is your boy Hank McCoy bringing you another beat session. So in this session, what we're going to talk about is drums for your beats. And I'm using Ableton, and I'm going to use a plugin to kind of show you around. Before I do that, though, I just want to remind everyone that I do have a 5-week video program called MPC Magic, where I walk you through my process of making beats from A to Z. I show you how I get samples, where I get my samples, how I chop the samples, and just a bunch of tricks that I use to construct my beats and even get you out of beat making block if that's an issue for you. So I rarely run into that, and I'll show you why that is the case. But all that's in MPC Magic. If you're interested in that, be sure to click on the link in the description. It'll take you over there. You can check it out. Also, I want to encourage you and invite you to smash that like button and subscribe. That way, as I release more content, you will be aware of it. All right. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get in. So I'm using Ableton Live for my drums. There's a million different ways that you can program your drums, but I'm using Ableton, and Ableton is a really cool software. Let me actually pull up some of my files here, and I'll just kind of show you something. So I'm going to go into one of my loop kits. This is the boom bap loops, and look, I got some drum loops here. Let's audition. So let's just go ahead and drop that in. So the cool thing about Ableton is no matter what the BPMs are on your sample, in this case we're using this break loop, Ableton will match the sample's BPM to the track's BPM. Let me play it and show you, because I'm at 93 BPMs. Let me play it. It should loop back perfectly. And it does. Perfect loop. All right. So that's great. So within here, I can manipulate it. If I want to transpose it down a couple semitones, I can, which will give it more a husky sound. Right. You can do all this right in real time. If I go back to 0, so this is where it was originally, I can pitch it up. This is pitched up 3 semitones. You can see it here. And it's a perfect loop, right? It works. So that's one way that you can have your drums dropped into a sampler. I mean, not a sampler, but a DAW like Ableton. And just like that, you can go ahead and start doing your melodies or your chords or put a sample over it, whatever you want to do. So that is one way to get there. All right. So boom. You do have that option. I don't typically do mine that way, but there's no right or wrong way to do any of this. All right. So it's just whatever your preference is. Sometimes I'll just spice it up depending on what I want to do. All right. So another way that I do it is I have a plugin that I use called Battery 4. I'm going to show you that in a second. I already have it loaded up. So basically you just, this is Battery 4. You drag it over to your MIDI input. And let me pop that open here. And then you can see this cool layout for Battery. All right. Now, what I like about Battery is it comes pre-installed with all of these sounds. And even if you don't like any of these sounds, you can import more sounds into it. All right. So I'm using my MPD 226 to trigger the sounds. All right. I can trigger each one of these sounds on here. All the snares, all the hi-hats, shakers, and I can trigger them right on my pad. All right, you can see it here. Let's see, let me move it over. All right, so you can see that. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and lay down some drums. I'm trying to get it so you guys can see it. All right, just see my pad. All right, I like that hi-hat. So what I'm going to do first is lay that hi-hat in. All right. So in order to do that, Just go here, put my metronome on. I'm at 93. I'm gonna go ahead and arm it. And yes, it helps if you nod your head as you're doing this. All right. All right. So you can see that there. And these are my steps for my hi-hat. I can quantize them if I want to. You just go and highlight them all. Go up here to edit. Go down to quantize. And it'll tighten them up a little bit. All right. I can also manipulate them the same way I could manipulate the other ones, the other drums that I dropped in that drum loop from earlier. All I need to do is go here, click on this wrench, and then battery will open back up, and then I can just click on the hi-hat. All right. If I want to shorten it, I can. All right. It doesn't have that much impact on it, whether it's short or long. All right. I can also change the tune of it. All right. It gives a completely different feel. I can raise the volume of it. I can lower the volume. All right. I can pan it. I can put compression on it. All right. Whatever I want to do, I have complete control of it here. All right. I'm not going to add compression. Not really interested in that. Let me show you another little secret real quick. The thing with your hi-hats a lot of times is these little markers down here are for the velocity. The velocity is how hard it hits each time. And you can see it has them hitting at the same velocity. So what I'm going to do is just go into different ones and I'm going to adjust the velocity like every other one. All right, I'm just trying to see it a little bit because I got the camera on an angle. So I'm not gonna silence it each one. I just want to lower it a little bit. All right. You can already kind of hear it's giving it its own like natural swing. All right, so you just adjust the velocity. All right, so we got that in there, right? Those are my hi-hats. All right, that sounds good. All right, so what I'm going to do next, I'm going to go ahead and add a snare. So let's go back, let's pull battery back up so you can see what I'm talking about. So this 808 snare here, I'm going to hit that. All right, and I'm going to record that in. So I can just go ahead and on my track. And I'm going to put my quantize on. All right, put the snare in. You can see it there. All right, I'm going to go back to pad A. And like I said, Battery has this big library. I'm kind of feeling this one here, this kick here. So like I said, I can shorten. All right, so let's go ahead and put that in there. I'm going to arm my metronome. So I'm gonna quantize the kick drum, and I didn't quantize the snare. Let the snare be a little sloppy. That's fine. All right. This is the snare. All right, so we already got some drums. So this is cool. It sounds pretty good. I could go ahead and start building around it. Normally what I will do is I like swing. I like to add a swing to my drums too. So there's different ways to do it. Some people will put the hi-hats on one track, like they'll have them on one track. They'll add a certain swing to your hi-hats. Some people will do the hi-hats and the drums, the kick and the snare, all on the same track, right? For this one, I'm going to do that. Now you can do it however you choose to do it. It's just completely up to you. So built inside of Ableton is a way to add swing to your drums. So what I do is in this area here, I just right click and then click on this browse groove library. All right. And then you see right off the bat, it highlighted swing and groove. All right. So what I'm looking for, and they have things in here for Logic, I guess for Logic users or people that know about Logic. I'm not really familiar with Logic too much. I'm in the Windows environment. So, but I usually pick this MPC, and then I'm looking for MPC 16, all right, because those are the steps, 16 steps. And then the last number here is like, you can see it's 50, 55, 60, 70. That is the quantize level. All right, so what I want to do is I'm going to just grab this 55 and drag it down. All right, now this, what we just dragged down here is going to impact the drums, but it only works if you activate it. So in order to activate it, you have to go here down here to groove, right click, well, not right click, but just click this drill down and then select it. All right, now let's play it back. Let's turn it up. All right, I'm going to adjust the quantize. Put it up to like 70. Now you can hear it when it does the turnaround at the beginning, the kick is not, you can't really hear the kick. This happens sometimes in Ableton for whatever reason. I think what happens is it's, because it hits like right on the one, sometimes the note overlaps a little bit, so it clips the last part and it won't play it on the turnaround. But if you go in here and adjust where the kick hits on the one, then you can adjust it and it'll correct that. All right, let me try something too, because it could be part of the swing. Yeah, I think it is. So this is without it. Now you can hear it, and this is with it. It's gonna take it away a little bit. All right. So you know what? I'm not liking it clipping it at the beginning, so I'm gonna take that out. Yeah, it seems like it's gonna clip it. So, you know, you kind of have to play around with it, get it to a place where you like. All right, this one's a little better. This is at 50. All right, there's a nice little swing. That's with it. This is without it. Yeah, yeah. So you play around with it, you know. And then, you know, on top of that, we could add effects and different things to the drums as well to spice them up a little bit more if we wanted to. So I don't want to keep this video too long, but I've already just given you kind of a layout for what you can do. And let me show you this too real quick before we go. We started out with looking at the sample pad, right? We looked at this drum loop. I'm gonna drop it back in again. All right, now the cool thing, and I'm gonna turn this one off. Turn it off, you just click on the number. The cool thing about Ableton is it does allow you to move really quickly through your workflow. And although I have these drums in here, I can turn them off, I can silence them, whatever I wanna do. This is the loop that I just put in there, this. It kind of sounds like the drums I just made a little bit. But if I want to put swing on these, I can do the same thing I did earlier. If I want to put this swing on these drums, I just click on the drums. This will open up here. And I do the same thing. Go down to Groove, MPC. All right. So although these are drums from a sample kit, we just added our own little swing on them. And again, what's great about the MPC is we can go in and we can add all types of effects on them. We can EQ them. There's a lot. Boost hi-hat. Let's see. All right, it gives a little feel. Maybe I'll drop those on mine too. All right, let's turn that one off. Turn this one back on. All right, and it gives it a little different feel. We can tweak it. But definitely brightened them up a lot. Can layer them, play them together if we want. All right, so we just layered some drums without even trying, really. I mean, Ableton's doing the heavy lifting. And you can just feel how brighter they are with that, all right? So I don't want to make this one long. I just wanted to kind of show you guys this. And this is a quick way to make drums in Ableton. And really the sky's the limit. It really just depends on what you want to do with it completely. But you got a lot of options. In my next video, I'm going to show you how I do drums on an MPC and Ableton at the same time. So that'll be what I show you. If you're interested in it, just look through my video library. Again, subscribe, because if you subscribe, once I upload that video, you'll see that one as well. And be sure to smash that like button. Again, if you want to see my process, how I go through making a beat from beginning to end, then you want to check out my course, MPC Magic. It's a 5-week video course where I walk you through the whole process, and you get access to everything that I use in its entirety. All right. If you're interested in that, click the link in the description. And if you guys need anything from me, be sure to reach out to me. Until next time, peace.